And welcome back again. Here is the second part of our Christmas special, and today we will be showing you how to create an amazing sausage meat and apricot stuffing that will blow everybody away. So grab yourself a drink, sit down and enjoy the video. So the ingredients we need for this recipe, for the sausage meat and apricot stuffing: we need some butter, we need some sausage meat obviously, a whole onion. I've got a red one here. I just prefer the flavour of a red one, but you can choose a white one or a sweet one if you wish. Clementine and nutmeg. I mean, what says Christmas more than these two? A bunch of sage, some dried apricots, some good quality olive oil, and some breadcrumbs. I've got some panko breadcrumbs here. You could use whatever you want if you've got some stale bread in the house. Absolutely. Of course, we've got our typical salt and pepper as well, and we've also got some sherry. Now, you don't have to put the sherry in, but that just adds a little bit of flavour whilst it's cooking. Anyway, let's get down to what we need to do. So let's get the show on the road. So what we need to do is just basically roughly chop our onion. As I say, take the outer layer off, as we all know. It's a bit papery, so if we take them out and put them to one side. We want to roughly chop this. We don't need it to be sort of like precision, super fine mandolin chopped. It just needs to be a bit chunky because we want a bit of substance in this. Remember, this is a stuffing, so it needs to have some sort of a bit of bite to it, should we say. We don't want it all to be too smooth and puree-like. Anyway, I'll bring you back in once I've chopped this onion. So there you go, there's the onion beautifully chopped. I'll bring you in for a close-up. We've got about half of the packet of sage here. Now we're going to rip this up and throw it into the frying pan that's behind me on the Tepro, which is heating up, with a tablespoon of olive oil in there. We're going to fry all this off together, just soften those onions. We don't want them being completely raw. We also don't want them being fully cooked. Remember, they're going to sit in the sausage meat and the rest of the mix for a while. So let's get this over to the Tepro. So now we've got those ingredients onto the Tepro and they're in the frying pan and sizzling away, and the smoke shack already starting to smell like Christmas. We need to get the clementine, we need to grate the zest of that into the frying pan as well, because we want that flavours in there. We don't want to go too far into it, because obviously if you do go too far, you get into the pith, which is a bit bitter and can be a bit unpleasant, but we just want to scrape off that skin into there. And what we're also going to do to add into that is we're going to squeeze the juice into the frying pan as well. To really add to that Christmassy flavour. And because we've actually grated the skin pretty much off, we'll give that clementine a really good squeeze into there, get that juices in there, and away we go. And while we're at it, we're going to do our nutmeg as well. So whilst the onions and all those other ingredients are softening, frying off in the skillet behind me on the Tepro, I'm going to grab some apricots, dried apricots. Don't want too many of these, remember, we don't want overpowering things. A good handful will do. And then what we're going to do is roughly chop these up. Again, it doesn't matter how even or roughly they are. We don't want them even Stevens. We want it to sort of have a bit of texture and a bit of randomness in the texture of this sausage meat stuffing. So I'll bring you back once I've done these. So there you go. I've got all of the apricots here. I'm just going to chuck these into the bowl. And what we're going to do is start mixing up some of this cool recipe. So we're going to also get our sausage meat in here. This is just from a supermarket. In fact, it happens to be Tesco's. But any good quality sausage meat will do. And we're just going to break that into, take a bit of paper off the back because we don't really want that in there, because they always put that in there. Grab that off. We're going to chuck that into there. That's about 500 grams of sausage meat there. So we'll put that in there. And I'd say we're probably going to use this entire packet of panko breadcrumbs as well. Just why? Because that's the way stuffing works. We've got to bulk it out with some stuff. So we'll pour that in and we'll chuck that into the bin down there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring that over, and I'll get the skillet and I will pour the ingredients in, and then I'll bring you in for a close-up. So we've got all our ingredients in here, the onions and sage. It just smells like Christmas already, and mixing that with the sausage meat, once this is cooked, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I have eaten this before. And if you can get sausage meat out of Christmas, it goes really well with a roast dinner. Anyway, I'm just going to get my hands in. My hands are clean, I've just washed them. Going to get my hands in here and mix this all up and make sure all those flavours are all mixed together. The apricots, the onions. Just be a little bit mindful, some of those onions might be still a bit warm, but there's enough breadcrumbs and things in there that should be able to make it cool. So I will bring you in once I've mixed it up. So we're going to get our little dish here, and what we're going to do is a little tiny drivel of olive oil. We don't need much. Just rub it around into the bottom. Just want to put some oil in there just to give it a bit of a lubrication, stop any stickage, and away we go. Doesn't need to be lots, just use your fingers as well. Olive oil is good for the skin apparently. Anyway, so we've got our stuffing nicely mixed. It's all a bit lumpy and it's a bit rustic and a bit crunchy. So we're going to just put that into there and firm that down into the pan, into a little pot. So we've got that. Any leftover ingredients, stick them on top, push them into the meat. Push it down nice and firm. Remember, stuffing needs to be quite solid and quite firm and dense, because it's obviously sausage meat and breadcrumbs, and what else isn't better than that? So there you go. So that's nicely firmed down. Now, out of choice, if you want to, you can by all means put a drizzle of sherry on the top, and why not? It's Christmas. Obviously, some of our viewers may not drink, or you know, for religious reasons or for personal reasons, don't do it then. But I'm just going to put a little drizzle of fine sherry on the top, just to add a little bit more Christmassiness. And this should permeate and sort of filter down through the meats when it cooks. What we've done, I've got the wood-fired oven up here to about 202 degrees. It's been sat at that for about 20-30 minutes now, so we know it's nice and stable. This needs to go into that oven at about 200 degrees for about an hour and 20. If the more you do, if you see the top starts to burn, just put some tin foil over it, okay? Just keep an eye on it, but don't keep opening it, because you know if you're checking, it ain't cooking. So that's the rule of thumb here. So we're going to put this into the wood-fired oven for about an hour, and then we'll bring you back once we're done. So we've done the stuffing. It's done about an hour and 30 minutes. I came up and the heat of the oven had sort of fluctuated a bit. We kept it around about 200 degrees. It's just dropping now. It's down to about 170 degrees centigrade, not Fahrenheit, by the way. So what I've done is I took it out and I put some foil on the top, because it wasn't burning, but it was at the point where it looked like it was going to burn a little bit more. And actually, that last 30 minutes with the foil on has just made an absolute amazing difference to this. This looks and smells. I mean, the smell coming off it is just amazing. Sausage, Christmassy, you name it. It's going to taste awesome, I know that. I'll bring you in for a close-up right now. What we need to do with this is actually leave this, because obviously we don't eat stuffing red hot. Now, I've got my trusty thermo pen here. We're just going to check the internal temperature, stick it in. Yeah, and it's around about the right temperature. I like to take this to around about well, it's about 98. Yeah, 99. So it's just under 100 degrees centigrade to make sure that's properly cooked. So what we're going to do is wrap that up back with foil and be done. But simply, that is now the stuffing down. I would leave that to rest probably for 30 minutes. It'll still be piping hot, and absolutely leave it in the dish, slice chunks of it out and serve it up with a dinner. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We will be doing obviously the rest of the series, the vegetables, the duck, you know, and all the other parts of this 5-part Christmas special that I'm doing. But yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button and keep your eyes peeled over this week, because we will be doing one video a day. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you again soon.